Hi.
There we go. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. 1 second, let me grab my mouse. There's a cat, but I need a mouse. Oh. Yes. Did you want to be part of the meeting, Figure? Okay, there you go. Say hi to everybody. Okay. How's everyone doing? I can't hear anybody.
Hello.
There we go. Thanks, Mia. How's everybody doing? Okay.
Good.
Doing good.
Good. All right, good. So I wanted to make sure that that we're all set for tomorrow. I will be having another Zoom meeting tomorrow before the tournament starts. So we'll start that Zoom meeting at about 10 a.m. Okay, tomorrow, and then the tournament starts at 11. So let's just go through, and I want to go through and make sure that we go over everybody's schedule. There we go. And share screen. Okay, first of all, the overall schedule. Take a look at that. Okay, this is the original one, but nothing has really changed for us except for the awards ceremony. That's been pushed back an hour to 8:30 instead of 7:30. Maybe I could make that change here. 8:30 to whenever. Going to be past my bedtime. No, it won't. My bedtime's later than that. Anyway.
Wait, it's starting at 8:30?
No, that's the award ceremony. That's 8:30 p.m. Okay.
Yes, I know. The awards are starting at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, that's late, isn't it?
Yeah, but didn't it earlier just say that it was 7:30 to 8:30?
It did, but that was the original schedule. If we look at the latest update to the schedule, which was in an email that I shared at the last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago, that has been changed to 8:30. Okay. So it's kind of late, but hopefully it'll be quick. So it's not, so that it's not, it doesn't last too late into the evening. But here is the overall schedule. Okay. So the events start at 11. And then there's a 15-minute break in between each, at the end of one time block and the beginning of another. All right. So 11 to 12 is the first one. 12:15 to 1:15 is the next one. 1:30 to 2:30, 2:45 to 3:45, and finally 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Now within that time block, as far as I understand it, all the events, all the tests are going to be the same duration. So within that 1 hour time block, you'll have 50 minutes to take the test. Okay. And remember that our team numbers are 1 and 2. So everywhere there's a dark blue block here with 1 to 20, that's us. Now, any questions on the overall schedule? All right, let me see. I've got some chats here. Let me just take a look. Is there any limit to how many notes you can have? Possibly. It depends on the event. Let's see. Okay, why does my Olympiad show all my events as 10:30 to 5:30? Also, what do we do about notes? Do we publish them as PDFs? Okay, so Sid has asked a couple of good questions. Why does my Olympiad show all my events as being 10:30 to 5:30? I couldn't answer that, Sid. I'm not sure, but my guess would be that that's the duration with a half hour on each end. That's the duration of the entire tournament. But within that, I would guess that you won't be able to actually access the test until, each test until the time block for that test comes up. Okay. I mean, if you think about it, they're not just sending, well, they should be able to do that, but anyway, I'm confident that they will have, the time blocks set up to be what you expect them to be. So we'll go over those time blocks in a second. Sid's second question, what do we do about notes? Do we publish them as PDFs? You certainly can. If you have them in whatever form though, if they're electronic and you have them at the ready at your computer, my strong suggestion is that you either have them on a separate computer than the one you're taking the test on, or you have it on a separate screen on that same computer. Okay. So hopefully, between you and your parents, you can choose one of those options. Okay, Gabrielle wants to know, is there any limit in how many notes we can have? And then where does it say how many notes we can have? You're welcome, Sid. Thanks for the note. Okay, so Gabrielle, the shared document here, the Science Olympiad Division B rules manual will tell you how many notes you can have for each event. Okay, so just go to that table of contents page, find the event that you're wondering about, and go to that one. So Gabrielle, can you tell me what one of your events is that you'd like to know about?
Density lab.
All right, so that's on page 12. So to page 12 we go. Okay, and the first thing it will tell you is, the second team actually, event parameters. And under event parameters, you can see, how many notes you're allowed to have. So each team may bring one 3-ring binder of any size containing information in any form and from any source. All right, so so for that particular event, Gabrielle, there is no limit. I mean, a 3-ring binder of any size, you can fit an entire textbook in a 3-ring binder of any size. So so really there's no limit to how many notes you can have for Density Lab.
Do we have to keep the notes in a 3-ring binder?
No. I mean, ordinarily, if it were in person, then yes, but no, you can have them, like I said, you can have them on your computer, okay, electronically, in other words. You can print them out if you want, but depending on the amount of notes you have, that could be a huge printout. All right, let's see, what else is there? Okay. All right, that looks like it. So let's go back to the schedule. All right, so we know the overall schedule. Were there any questions on that? Any remaining questions on the overall schedule? Okay. Then let's go to each person. Okay, and make sure that you know the time slots that each of your events or each person's events are going to occur in. So in this spreadsheet here, which I have shared with you, HUSO, BSO by person, is everybody's name and the 2 or 3 events that you're scheduled for. And in parentheses, after the name of each event is the time slot of that event. All right. So for example, if we take Athena, Athena has 3 events. The first one is anatomy and physiology, and that's in time slot 1 from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Next one is Game On in time slot 3 from 1:30 to 2:30. And the last one is meteorology in time slot 5 from 4 to 5. All right. Now, I know I shared this with everybody, but what I'm going to do is I'm also going to, download these spreadsheets as Excel files or some other spreadsheet and email those to your parents tonight so that they have them too. All right. So everybody, you can find your name here on the left-hand side. Team 1, of course, is everybody in blue. Team 2 is everybody in green. Okay, I've got another chat. Slot from 11 to 12 or from 11:15 to 12:15. Alex, that first slot is from 11 to 12. Okay, if we go back to the original, the overall schedule, you see that first slot is from 11 to 12. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Now remember, in that time slot, you'll have 50. So once you start the test within that time slot, you'll have 50 minutes. So if you start it right at the beginning time, so let's say you start let's say your first event is from 11 to 12, and you start right at 11, the test will automatically close at 11:50, right? If you start at 11:05, then the test will close at 11:55. So make sure that you start each of your make sure you start your test, each test that you're doing, within 10 minutes of the start time. Okay. In fact, let's make it 5 so that there aren't any mistakes. So everybody, make sure you start the test within 5 minutes of the start time of each time slot. Okay. All right. So you see the schedule here. Like I said, I'm going to send this to all your parents so they'll know what each student is doing, and so you can get ready. Some of you will have, let's see, I'm looking for an example here. Okay, so Ben actually a little bit unlucky here, but you've got 3 events back to back to back. Okay, so you've got one in time slot 3, one in time slot 4, one in time slot 5, and I know that I asked you to add meteorology pretty late, so I thank you for taking that on, and that there are a couple others of you who will have back-to-back events like that. Cameron, you as well. So just make sure that you've got that 15-minute break in between your events. Make sure that you take that time to just relax. All right. Don't try and use that time to like cram on your notes and study real hard. In that small window you have between events. Just know that you've prepared, that you're smart, and that you're going to do great. And so just yeah, just like I said, don't stress yourself out by trying to cram in last minute studying. It's a better idea to sort of just sit in a quiet spot, close your eyes, do some deep breathing, and just get yourself mentally ready for that next time slot. All right, Sid, you've got the same thing here. You've got time slots 3, 4, and 5. So you'll be busy starting at 1:30. All right. I tried to avoid that wherever I could, but of course it was unavoidable in many cases. So that's just an unfortunate circumstance of the way that it's structured. But again, I have confidence in you guys. You've been working so hard, and I want you to know that again, I've said this a few times, but I'll say it again. I'm just so proud of you and inspired really by your hard work and dedication, and you should all pat yourselves on the back. If we were all together, I'd get us in a big group and we do a 1, 2, 3, let's go team and throw up our hands. But so we could do that here. We're all together. Okay, ready? So we'll just pretend that all our hands are together. Ready? We'll do 1, 2, 3, go team. Did anybody else do that, or was it just me?
I did it.
I did.
Good. All right. So good. Everyone did it.
I did it.
Good. I'm gonna tell myself everybody did it. Great. Thanks, guys. So, yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna send these two spreadsheets to your parents tonight. This one has mainly been for me, so that I could keep track of everybody who's doing what. Okay. So, I think to avoid confusion, I'm not going to send this one to your parents. It's not as well structured, and it's really what you guys need to know for tomorrow is on here. You find your name and you find your events and your time slots, and you're good to go. Okay. So any other questions about how it's structured and the time slots and all that?
It's going to be on Zoom, correct?
Well, no. You mean the test itself?
Yeah, so like we're gonna go on to a document and it's gonna have a link to, we're gonna sign in with that code that you gave us. I have mine.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot like Zoom, but, well, I shouldn't say that. You're not going to be able to see your partner or talk directly to your partner unless you were to call. And, you know, if you call each other. And in one of the documents that that I posted this past week, I think it was this one. Let's see. Yeah, pretty sure it was this one. It actually says, now I'm looking for it now. Okay, when will students, how can partners communicate with each other? So Olympiad has built-in chat features that allow partners to message each other and answer synchronization. So as one of you is typing in an answer or doing a multiple choice, you know, choosing one of the options under multiple choice, the other partner will see what that partner is doing. And remember that if you're typing in an answer, then when you click outside of the box, the text box where you're typing, it will save your answer. So if both of you are typing at the same time, whoever clicks outside of that box first, it'll save that answer. Okay, and then if the other person, and so the other person will see, oh, what I just typed went away. So it's important for you to coordinate with your partner, you know, on each question. You'll be able to do that through the chat. Each question, who's actually going to be typing the answers, so that both of you aren't trying to do that at the same time. Okay. Now, go ahead.
Can we like use Zoom to like coordinate
On your phones? Yeah, so that's actually what I was getting to. Video or audio calling and screen sharing are only allowed between official partners using any platform. Okay, so that means that yes, you can call each other. You can FaceTime if you have iPhones. You can Zoom with each other on your phones. Or if you have an iPad or another computer, you can Zoom on that. I would suggest not Zooming on the same computer you're taking the test on. Okay, so don't try and Zoom with your partner on that same computer. I have a feeling, and I don't know, but I have a feeling that that might interfere with the test itself. Okay, so if you make plans with your partner to communicate during the test, do it by phone or separate device. Okay, iPad or another computer. But yeah, you can video. So as long as you're only calling your partner, it's okay. I think, as I said last time, you couldn't, for example, call me or Dr. Gaduru, who's been helping us out with machines and Circuit Lab and other events. You can't call him or me or anyone besides your partner during the test. Okay.
Is there going to be a meeting for each test?
A meeting for each test.
Like a place that we go before the test, so they like give us rules.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So are you kind of referring to when the tournament was in person, everybody would gather before the test and go over the rules, and then the test would start?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that there's that that there's that functionality built into the tournament this time. I haven't heard any mention of it. I think you're logging in with your SciOlympiad ID, and then you're seeing the tests that are available to you, and you're clicking on that test within the time slot of when it's available. And then, because one thing that makes me say that is that, students can start the test at any time during the time slot. Now, if you start it more than 10 minutes after the start time, you're going to run out of time before the test will close. So, but because students can start the test at different times, that suggests to me that there won't be any sort of group meeting before each test. It's just sort of, okay, you and your partner, are you ready? Okay, go for it. And even you and your partner don't have to start the test at exactly the same time. Whoever started it first will start the time clock, right? And then if the other partner comes in, let's say 3 minutes later, they will have seen 3 minutes already go by on the time clock. So whoever starts the test first starts the time clock. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the only really sort of pre-event information on the day of the tournament, in other words, tomorrow, is going to be our Zoom meeting that's going to start at 10 a.m. So 1 hour before the events actually start. Okay, and that's just to gather together and give ourselves another pep talk, and for me to give you another pat on the back, and get ready for the events starting at 11.
So I'm just curious so I have the code written down right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And mine begins with 1019. So yep. I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Yep.
Where do I use that to log in?
Okay, so there have been a couple of documents that I shared with you guys in previous weeks, last week or the week before, to kind of go over that. But let me just point you to it again, or point you to one of them again. This is probably the best one to follow because it is specific to our event, the Harvard Brown Science Olympiad Invitational. Okay. And so it's called the SciOlympiad Students Guide. It is shared with you on your Google Drive, through your school account, your barringtonschools.org account. But this is another thing that I'm going to send to your parents. I think I may have already sent it, but I'm going to do it again. And so to answer your question, Cameron, this is the link you would go to, okay? SciOlympiad.com/WhosoBSO-BSO. And then that takes you, let me zoom in a little bit. That takes you to a page that looks like this. And the links that you use to access the test are already labeled take test using login ID or using email. Now, I want to emphasize again, if you use email, you're probably going to run into connectivity problems because the Barrington schools, rightly so, put limitations on their email accounts in terms of, who can access those accounts and what can be done with them. So that's why it's very important that you're using your login ID that I gave you last time, or last week rather, to do that. So you should all be clicking the green button here. Okay, this green button right there. Take test using login ID. And you can do it today. In fact, if you haven't done it yet, you should do it today, to make sure that you can log on. And when you log on, I had one student told me that when he logged on, he didn't see any events on the screen when he logged in. And, that kind of scared me a little bit, but I said, well, maybe they just don't quite have it put together yet. I couldn't see anything wrong online with his registration or anything like that. So I just said, try again the next day, and he did, and it worked. So yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think, it'll work. Even if your events don't show up today, but they really should be showing up by today. So like I said, if you haven't done this yet, go ahead and get on SciOlympiad. Let's just click the link here to show you what it will look like. Here we go. Okay, so it's actually even changed a little bit, but this is what, and if you're doing it for the first time today, I know it looks a little weird because it says take test using login ID, but that's how they've chosen to label their button. So you would log in here, and if it's the first time you're logging in, you'll put in your first and last name and you'll make up a password. Okay.
The test start times and end times say 10:30 to 5:30.
Yep. So that's So that's what Sid had asked at the beginning of our meeting today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
It says take test using login ID. If I hit that, does that mean that I start taking the test or no?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Before I go on to fully answer that question, let me just add that if our meeting ends abruptly, which I think it might in somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes, I'll restart it immediately, and I would like everybody to join back in. So all 27 of you who are here today, please log back onto the meeting right away, okay? All right, Aiden, so to answer your question, no, the button is labeled that way, which is kind of confusing to me, but it doesn't mean you're starting the test right now. In fact, you won't be able to start it right now. But regardless, you still click that button where it says take test using login ID, and it will take you to a screen that looks like this. But if it's the first time you're seeing the screen, you'll also see other fields here where you can enter your first and last name, and you'll be able to make up a password, okay? Make sure you know your password, okay? If you don't know it, then
yeah, I know it.
Okay, everybody, make sure you know your password. Write it down if you have to.
Wait, what's the password again?
Mia, you made one up. Okay, you can make one up. Did you get your login ID, Mia? Do you know
Yes.
Okay, so make sure the first time you log in, you'll be able to make up your own password, whatever you'd like it to be. Just don't forget what it is. Okay. All right, and then let's see. Was it Rowan? Did you ask about why your events are showing up 10:30 to 5:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So my guess is that the reason is that because everybody's, time slots for the tests vary, they just have every single event listed from 10:30 to 5:30, right? So half an hour before the events start, half an hour after they end.
Yeah, that's the same way. I'm seeing the same thing 10:30 to 5:30 on my screen too.
Yeah, so it's just showing up that way right now, but my guess is that the links are not going to work until the actual time of each test, okay? So, if you try to click on it at 10:30, it's not going to work. If you're taking, let's see, if you're doing, let's say fossils, right? Then if you click on it anytime before 12:15, it's not going to open. It's only going to open at 12:15. So even though they're all showing the entire day being available, they're not going to be available for the entire day. Okay, they're only going to, the links are only going to work in the time slots that are given here. All right, does that answer that one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anybody else right now?
Mine is saying I made up some of my, I'm on the SciOlympiad.com/husso-bso.
Yep.
And I'm using my first name and last name as my username, all one word and all lowercase. And then I made up a password, and then it says my profile isn't matched.
So wait, you're using your first name and last name, all one word, as your username?
Yeah. And then I made up a password, and now it's not working.
Shouldn't you be using your login ID as your username?
Is my login ID that code that you gave us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I opened up the the sign in, so I was able to sign in.
Okay.
And then it says there are some unknown There are some known connectivity issues with Safari, Chromebooks, and school-furnished computers. Answers will not be synchronized among partners. Use Chrome, Edge, or Firefox instead. Like,
I did not make.
Just a sec. Let me try to answer one thing at a time. So was that Alex? Were you asking about the Safari?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not aware of that connectivity problem. That's a first for me, but what is it telling you? That you should not use Safari, that you should use Chrome or Firefox instead?